Hey there, welcome back to my channel. It's me Sonali Singh, a 3D animator in games, and this is another small tips and tricks video. Or maybe you can scratch that small part as I have so much to share and I hope you guys like it. This topic was the most demanded one as a lot of people were asking me about it in the comment section on Twitter, Discord, wherever they could find me. I'll tell you what it is. In this video, we are going to see how to export any character from Maya and import it in Unreal Engine. Yay! Let's get started. Since I don't have any random topics to discuss with you guys today, I'll jump straight onto the topic, which is how to bring any character in UE4. Now, before we bring in any character inside Unreal, let's first take a look at what kind of characters can be brought inside Unreal Engine. For that, we'll take a look at our very own faceless mannequin. Now, this is the default character which Epic has provided as a template for the biped characters to be used inside Unreal. So this rig or any other rig that can be brought inside Unreal Engine is called a game ready rig. Now, what is it that makes them a game ready rig? Let's find out. Let's just double click and open this SK mannequin. If you take a look here on the left under the skeleton tree, we can see the entire joint hierarchy or the rig structure for this character. I'll collapse the root joint here and you can see all the joints in this rig are grouped under a single parent, which is the root here. So this is what makes it game ready. Just make sure that all of the joints of your character that you want to bring in UE4 have a single parent joint like this. Now you can also have an empty group, but that's not the best practice. Now let's expand this root joint again and you'll see that there is a root followed by pelvis and the spine chain. Then the last spine chain has 3 joint chains nested under it. One starts with the neck followed by head and then maybe hair if Manny could grow any. Then there are 2 parallel chains for each hand, starting with the clavicle and going down the chain till the individual finger. So this kind of structure is the most common one for game ready biped characters and Epic encourages you to follow this structure. You can find this in all the template projects provided by Epic or even AAA games like Paragons, which has so many characters with so many variations, follow the same structure. And even the recently released MetaHuman samples are using it. Since we now know what a game-ready asset looks like, let's go back to Maya and take a look at a few characters that we have to check whether they are compatible or not. Now, I created a poll and a lot of you voted for Lisa and Azri, so those are the rigs I'll cover along with a few other ones. First one's Lisa because I already made a video on her showing how to set it up in UE4 with different outfits. So if you haven't watched it yet, links in the description below. Now let's take a look at the outliner here and you can see there's a root skeleton. So just hold shift and click on this plus icon to open the whole hierarchy. So under root we have COG, pelvis, spine, etc. Exactly the kind of joint chain we are looking for. Now the name of these joints will differ a lot of times if you compare it with the mannequin because different riggers like to follow their own naming conventions, but the hierarchy is almost similar. So just hold shift and click on this again to collapse this. So joint setup, check, which means game ready, yes. Now let's take a look at the Azri rig. If you go to the outliner here, under Azri, you can see there's a joint. Press shift and click to open this. There's our beautiful hierarchy. As you can see, all of these joints are under a single parent, which is exactly what we're looking for. And we want to make sure that there isn't anything extra in this hierarchy like some Maya specific functionality. The constraints are okay, but nothing else. Here you can see the hierarchy has some similarity with the mannequin rig, with a few extra joints in the spine chain and other parts like her poncho, skirt and hair. Now that all the check marks are ticked for this particular rig, we can go ahead and say game ready. Now these were a few rigs that can be definitely imported in Unreal. Let's check a few other commonly used rigs like body mechanics that most of the animators would love to bring inside Unreal and render the beautiful animations that they create using this rig. So let's open the Maya file and check the rig hierarchy. Here I have Tina character open already. Let's take a look at the outliner. So we have rig group and if you open this, there's a geo group which contains our mesh and then there's character. Under character, if you just look for joints, here it is. Press shift and open this. We have a spine hierarchy, so there's some hope. But we have something called spine influence 7 compensate and spine influence 7. Then there's left arm scaling compensate, elbow counter scaler, I don't know what exactly these are, but it looks like some kind of mesh deformer for those bendy arms or other body parts. And this is something very specific to Maya in the way it is created. So even though all of these joints are under a single hierarchy here, it won't work inside UE4 as it contains all of those functionalities which are very specific to this DCC application. It should only consist of joints and can have parent constraints to drive each other in order to be a game-ready rig. During my initial days as a professional animator, I used to animate a lot on these rigs, but when I wanted to bring them inside UE4, I couldn't. I even reached out to a few riggers asking them what could be done to bring them in Unreal, to which they replied, nothing. We'll have to re-rig them as per the UE4 mannequin skeleton. So finally, I had to do all those renders in Maya and learn some tips and tricks for a decent looking lighting setup. Here's how some of them looked. But still, rendering in Maya took a lot of time and I didn't have a good enough PC back then which could take all that load of Arnold rendering. Plus I could use that time to polish my animations more. So body mechanics, game ready? No. In case any of you manage to get these characters inside Unreal, please let me know as I would love to animate these characters and render them in Unreal. Finally, before moving on to the export process, I'll show you one last trick which is quite popular and that's why I didn't add it in my poll. It would have been an obvious winner. So what is it? It's the Zelda rig! Yay! It's the popular rig which is also free thanks to Christoph. I'll provide a link in the description below. You can check out his Gumroad page for a lot of free and awesome rigs. So let's take a look at the outliner. Here's a Biped 001 rig group and under Global Move group, you'll find the skeleton group which has the root. You can open this to check the hierarchy. It has a similar hierarchy to the mannequin and everything is under a single parent. So Zelda, game ready? Definitely check. Now that we have a basic understanding on what kind of joint hierarchy do we need in a particular rig to get them in UE4, let's export some of these characters. So to export any character, we just need to select two things, that is bone and mesh. Because we have Zelda file open here, let's export her first. We have a skeleton here, so we'll just go ahead and select this and press Shift plus P to unparent it. Now we want to keep our joint hierarchy separate like this in order to not have any extra unnecessary group above it. Let's look for the second thing, that is mesh. Now under mesh group, we have body mesh here and all the props here. We want to export the character along with all the props, so we'll export the whole mesh group. So select the joints plus mesh and go to File, Export Selection, choose the file type to FBX, and let's look at some of the export settings. We need smoothing groups as on, smooth mesh, and referenced asset contents. We don't need animations turned on as we're just exporting the character. Then I always have embed media turned on. Under FBX file format, you can choose the type as ASCII and version as FBX 2013. We keep it to a lower version of FBX to make sure it's compatible with all the systems. Let's name this as SKM_Zelda and export. This will take a while, so let's export Lisa in the meantime. In our Lisa character, we have root skeleton which is already independent and not under any group. So we can select that and select group mesh under the export group which contains our mesh. Again, go to File, Export Selection, type in a name like SKM_Lisa and export with the same settings. Last one remaining is ASRI, so let's export that. For ASRI, we have our joints here under this group which is named joints. So we'll just go ahead and select this and press Shift plus P to unparent it just like we did for Zelda. So select the joints plus geometry and export. I haven't changed any of the settings here, it's the same as the previous one. Just type in a name like SKM_ASRI and export. We have our FBX exports ready and it's finally time to open Unreal Engine and import all of our characters. For now, I'll just create a TPP template project to import our character. But if you're completely new to UE4, I would definitely suggest you to watch my video on Unreal Futures, a collaboration that I did with Epic Games, and it is available on their learning portal. It is for beginners where I show you things from downloading and installing Unreal Engine to navigating around in the viewport and creating your first sequence for rendering. I'll leave a link in the description below. For now, let's just open the Epic Games launcher. Go to the library where we have all of our projects, and you can launch the latest version that you have. A window will pop up saying select or create a new project. Just choose games, select a TPP template, choose a location where you want to create your file, set the name, and hit create project. So here in the content browser, I've made a character folder which consists of Zelda, Lisa, and Azri. As always, following a good folder structure is important. Since I'm a bit biased towards Lisa Rig these days after attending iAnimate, so we'll import her first. Now to import any asset to UE4, you can just click on this import button here, or you can just right click on the content browser and select import from here. So I'll just select my character Lisa and hit open. A window will pop up with all the import settings. By the way, you can also drag and drop your assets from your Explorer to the content browser and the same window will pop up. So let's look at the import settings for Lisa. But before that, let me just hit this button on the top which says reset to default to show you all the process from scratch. Now let's go in a top-down fashion starting from the first group, which is mesh settings. Under mesh here, we have skeletal mesh, which denotes if the imported asset has bones or not. So if we turn this option off, then the engine will assume it to be a static mesh without any bones. You can use this if you want to use your character as a statue. But since we don't want that, we'll go ahead and turn this on. Next we have import mesh, which speaks for itself. So we'll keep this option on as we want to import the character mesh. Then comes import content type. Just keep it to default as we want to import both the geometry plus the skinning weights. Finally, in the main option here, we have skeleton. Since we don't have an existing skeleton in our project, we'll leave it empty as it will create a new skeleton for our character. Now let's click on this arrow to open the advanced options under mesh. There are a few important things here that we need to consider. Rest we can leave it to default. First is this one right here which says use T0 as reference pose. Now in UE4 default mannequin has the A pose as the relaxed pose or the base pose for your animations. So if you have a character with T pose as the base pose, make sure to turn this option on so that your defined pose is the base pose for your animations. And this will be helpful while retargeting. Otherwise, if you toggle this off, UE4 will force this character to the engine default, which is the A pose, and that will create problems. So I'll just keep this on since the base pose for Lisa is T. Next is import morph targets. So if your character uses morphs or blend shapes for facial animations or some correctives, make sure to turn this on, otherwise all those blend shapes won't get imported. Then we have normal import method. Use this based on how you want your mesh normals to be calculated. Finally, there is create physique asset. Leave it on. This will create a separate asset to define physics on your character. I'll cover that in some later video. Then there are animation and transform settings, which we can leave to default right now. Finally, under the material section, we have a few options to define how the materials will be created using textures, which are imported based on the option you select under the search location. Just leave it to default settings and hit import all. Now this will take some time depending on the PC that you have and how dense your poly count is. For me, it is really slow, so I'll skip that part in the video. Once it is loaded, we can see our character here with all the textures and shaders. You can just double click and open up the skeletal mesh to see your character here. She looks like this because there are two outfits colliding into each other. Now to segregate two different skins, you can use the method that I shared in my previous video. So finally, to make sure that the character is imported properly, you can check the skeleton asset under the skeleton tree here on the left. Everything in the joint hierarchy is similar to how it is set up in Maya. So let's move on to the Azri rig. Just take the FBX and drag it to the content browser. Once you have the import settings, everything else is going to be as it is, so hit import all. Once it is imported, just double click and open the skeletal mesh. You'll see a character with all the shaders and textures assigned properly. Also, the skeleton is as desired. Perfection! Since you now know how to import your characters in Unreal, I would suggest you to try this process with your own characters, or you can try importing Zelda as I showed you how to export that as an FBX. Also, do let me know in the comment section below how many of you actually imported Zelda. I'm excited to know. Time for the bonus tip! Now, if you forgot to change a few settings while importing your characters, you don't have to delete everything and start from scratch. You can just open up your skeletal mesh, and under the asset details, you can search for import. And this will show you all the import settings. Now, once you're done with the changes here, you can just hit the re-import button here on the top. This will import the character with the updated settings. But that wasn't all for bonus today. I have something better. A small giveaway kind of a thing where I've decided to give a rig to all of my animator friends out there and anybody who needs it. A lot of time when we want to just prototype something or create a very basic animation, we don't need a character covered in a fancy dress, has long hair, and has facial. What kind of character could save us in this situation? It's our faceless mannequin! Yay! I have this mannequin with controls in Maya and all set up to be used in UE4. So you can download this for free from my Gumroad page. Now you can create animations using Manny in Maya. Also do tag me if you create something cool out of this. Also, if you want to support this channel or have money lying around, you can donate by putting a comfortable bid on the Gumroad page to help me grow this channel or keep doing these kind of giveaways. You'll love it. Now, Manny can't express his feelings, but you can. So do give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to help me reach my next goal of 5K subs. Don't forget to share this video around. Until the next time, see ya!